Guys, welcome back to History of the Earth 717 characters. Today we're going to be talking about Lizard of our 717. Now you're probably wondering why I'm doing this, and that's why if you watched the last video, basically, before I can introduce Marvel stories to the channel, I have to do histories with this. Now I kind of broke down Wolf the Infinity World, but you know what I mean. I need to do all these history videos. But anyway, without further delay, let's begin. So Dr. Kirk Connors used to be a military soldier, and during a mission, his arm was blew off by an explosion. Due to this, Dr. Kirk Connors got a free pass to enlist out from the military. He immediately left the military and continued his work in a science education. He later became a teacher teaching students about science, reptiles, and other creatures. Eventually, though, Dr. Connors found life difficult on an arm. As a result, he desperately tried to recreate it. Eventually, he got fascinated with how reptiles regenerate, and he began talking about them more during his studies. Every time his class, he would always bring them up, or sometimes he'd be the complete subject completely. Sometimes he would even do it twice, teaching it to many young students. One, such as Peter Parker. Well, eventually, Dr. Kirk Connors took blood from a lizard, reverse engineered it, and stabbed it into himself. Dr. Kirk Connors was watching in amazement as he would regrow his hand to what it once was. Now with his hand back, he would begin to do things he never was able to do before. He began to drive more easily. He began to go bowling. He began to indulge in his regular exercises again. He began to get very, very happy. Eventually, though, he would arrive home one day, with his scream in agony as he would transform into the lizard. As the lizard, he created a hole through it by jumping out of it and immediately leaped into the sewers. News would spread as Dr. Kirk Connors was missing, and as a result, the cops began to try and find him. They determined Dr. Kirk Connors was kidnapped, but were confused by the claw-like marks on his walls. Peter Parker, aka Spider-Man, decided to investigate. He also decided to investigate sightings of a creature in the sewers that was quickly determined by the public, dubbed the Lizard. Spider-Man would immediately go into the sewers in hopes to find Dr. Kirk Connors or the Lizard. However, he did find the Lizard. Spider-Man and the Lizard get into a brief fight, but eventually the Lizard jumps away. Spider-Man chases after the Lizard, but he finds that the Lizard is just too fast for Spider-Man to keep up with. As a result, Spider-Man managed to collect a DNA sample during the battle. He immediately investigated, only to figure out that the DNA matches Dr. Kirk Connors. Spider-Man would then travel to the sewers, believing that he had devised an antidote for the monster, only to find Wolverine in the sewers as well, as Wolverine was also investigating the event. Eventually, the Lizard, Spider-Man, and Wolverine and Spider-Man team up to fight against Dr. Kirk Connors, defeating him in battle. After defeating Dr. Kirk Connors, they will quickly jam the antidote into him. This would transform Dr. Kirk Connors back into Dr. Kirk. This would transform Lizard back into Dr. Kirk Connors. To take Dr. Kirk Connors down. Spider-Man would then grab the cure into Dr. Kirk Connors. This would transform Dr. Kirk Connors back into human form. Dr. Kirk Connors thanks Wolverine and Spider-Man until Dr. Kirk Connors walks off. Eventually, Dr. Kirk Connors is seen contacting Bruce Banner trying to figure out a cure for his condition. During 9/11, the soldiers attacked both Bruce Banner and Dr. Kirk Connors. Both Bruce Banner and Dr. Kirk Connors would transform into their monsters counterparts. Bruce Banner will fight against some soldiers before jumping off, while the Lizard fought against soldiers and ran off. Eventually, the Lizard would transform back into Dr. Kirk Connors. During the giant tsunami, during the Kraken attack, Dr. Kirk Connors is attacked by the Kraken and quickly transforms into the Lizard. However, the Kraken quickly throws him aside, and devours Bruce. Eventually, Bruce Banner transformed to the Hulk, and him and the other superheroes worked together to defeat the Kraken. After the event, Dr. Kirk Connors' moves were being tracked by Kingpin. Eventually, it was revealed that Kingpin had captured Dr. Kirk Connors and was forcing him to do the work by a mind-controlled disc that one of his crime criminals had created. Eventually, they would send Lizard after Jack, the werewolf of this universe. Connor Connors would be defeated by Jack in his werewolf form. After this, Dr. Kirk Connors, he would transform back into Dr. Kirk Connors, where he had been spotted by the public. It turned out that Dr. Kirk Connors' mind control disc was smashed during the fight. After this, he would be immediately spotted by the cops. However, the cops immediately want to arrest Dr. Kirk Connors, as news spread of Dr. Kirk Connors and Lizard being related. As it was quickly determined Dr. Kirk Connors was the Lizard. As a result, Dr. Kirk Connors would pay for his actions. But Spider-Man would immediately arrive, trying to beg the public not to do what they were going to do. And he would try to beg the public not to arrest Dr. Kirk Connors and try to find a cure for his condition. But during his begging, eventually a bunch of criminals would arrive and they would try to take Dr. Kirk Connors and Spider-Man down. Dr. Kirk Connors transforms into the Lizard. Spider-Man and Dr. Kirk Connors fight against the criminals, eventually defeating them all. Spider-Man would not fight against Dr. Kirk Connors for a minute until he jumped to the sewers. Lizard and Spider-Man would then work together to free Jack. However, after the event is over, after Spider-Man had defeated Kingpin, the Lizard had jumped off. The Lizard and Jack had jumped off, and Spider-Man was unable to follow them. Spider-Man would try to pursue them, was eventually hauled off by the cops, who wished to take them down personally. Spider-Man tried to fight against the cops and was about to get violent when Iron Man was stepped in, telling Spider-Man that it was not the right time to fight. Especially when a cop started mocking Spider-Man. Spider-Man immediately looked at him. Under his mask, he was furious, but he was convinced by Iron Man not to fight. After this, Spider-Man and Iron Man would then swing off, while the Lizard would fight against Jack in his werewolf form. Eventually, the werewolf is able to defeat Dr. Kirk Connors, and the werewolf jumps away, and Dr. Kirk Connors is taken into police custody. Dr. Kirk Connors was last seen in a prison jail along with a few other inmates. Now let's talk about his powers. The guy has super strength, durability, stamina, and increased speed. Now let's talk about his strength. Dr. Kirk Connors' lizard form and strength easily surpasses that of a normal man. He was able to rip a grizzly bear in half using his bare hands in his lizard form. And he's even able to punch entire holes to humans. And was even able to eat an entire human whole. He's able to take slashes from Wolverine's claws, punches from Spider-Man going at full strength. Full strength and other things. Now let's talk about his speed. Dr. Kirk Connors hasn't shown any significant speed, but after an older feat, it was presumed that Dr. Kirk Connors was faster than Spider-Man. Now let's talk about his. Now let's talk about his senses. Dr. Kirk Connors has no unique sense. Despite being a humanoid lizard, he's not showing the ability to sniff or any other things, but he should be able to smell things out of the ordinary. The lizard durability. The lizard's durability has increased vastly. He's able to take bullets. His skin is able to withstand small arms fire and slashes from Wolverine. He is able to take punches from Spider-Man going at full strength, and was even thrown out of the helicopter and came out mostly unscathed. Helicopter mostly unscathed. Scathed. And that is a behavior and personality. As Dr. Kirk Connors possesses no unique abilities and has the strength of a man his age who indulges in regular exercises. Dr. Kirk Connors is a brilliant mind, having a vast intelligence in chemistry and physiology. He is also vastly intelligent about reptiles. And his more monstrous counterpart. Now let's talk about Dr. Kirk Connors when he transforms. Much like Bruce Banner, when Dr. Kirk Connors gets angry or stressed, he transforms into the lizard. And when the lizard eventually gets calm, he'll transform it back into Dr. Kirk Connors. And when he's knocked unconscious, he will eventually transform back into Dr. Kirk Connors. Dr. Kirk Connors. Eventually, Dr. Kirk Connors. Behavior. While in lizard form, he has played both the role of a hero and villain. He has fought against multiple things that heroes to fight against, such as when he fought against 9/11 terrorists, when he fought against the Kraken, and when he helped Spider-Man free Jack. However, the lizard only has one goal: eat or be eaten. Eaten. Every time he transforms, the only thing he seems to look for is food, live or dead. Live or dead. 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 He often indulges in acts of cannibalism. He often eats the remains of his opponents, and even slaughtered a human whole multiple times. Multiple times, making him a bloodthirsty killer. He's a creature who only reacts to instinct and doesn't really want to destroy or conquer the world. He just wants to eat, and that's pretty much it. He'll eat anything: humans, bears, whatever he can get his hands on. He'll try to eat. Dr. Kirk Connors also has a healing factor. His healing factor doesn't seem to repair any normal injuries. However, it was suggested that since he doesn't catch any diseases by eating human wholes or eating bears, it was suggested that his healing factor that he heals from any disease, making him immune to all types of diseases. And that is a history of Dr. Kirk Connors. Let me know your thoughts on his character. And that is the Earth 717 counterpart. Is it different from Earth 616 counterpart? Let me know. And that's all I have for you to say. Good, thank you, and have a good night.